Welcome to Famous Gays and Lesbians, alleged and otherwise. I'm your host, Thomas Connolly. I happen to be a gay actor, and I live in the gayest city of them all, West Hollywood, California. On this episode, we're featuring a trio of derelicts. Oh yeah, I'm talking about three gay closeted Republicans who have an atrocious record for voting against gay rights legislation. Now, all these three gay Republicans were outed in a scandalous, controversial, hypocritical way. Now, all these men are egregious in one way or another, but we'll start with arguably what's the least offensive to the most offensive. That means, first up, we have the infamous Mark Foley. Mark Foley was a member of Congress from Florida from 1995 to 2006. Now, Mark Foley was forced to resign because he sent graphic, sexually explicit text messages to congressional pages who were teenage boys. Now, Mark Foley reportedly sent imagery of genitalia and sexual acts to these teenage boys. I didn't know that was part of the family values agenda. Now, this was particularly hypocritical in Mark Foley's case because he was one of the chief opponents to child pornography in Congress. That's right, he crafted and he introduced a bill in Congress called the Child Modeling Exploitation Prevention Act, which was supposed to outlaw any pornographic imagery to minors. In an ironic twist, federal authorities said that Mark Foley could be prosecuted with the same laws that he helped to enact. Oh, ain't karma a bitch? Now, Mark Foley escaped prosecution, but he was forced to resign as a congressman. Now, moving right along. Next on our shame of hall list is the infamous Larry Craig. Now, Larry Craig was a senator from Idaho for 18 years, from 1991 to 2009. And for those 18 years in the Senate, he had a 100% record for voting against gay rights legislation. So what a surprise when he was caught up in a media frenzy of a gay sex scandal. Now, Larry Craig was arrested for solicitation of sex in a stall in the bathroom at the St. Paul, Minnesota airport men's room. Oh, when I think of romance, well, what else are you supposed to do to kill a little time before your flight takes off? Now, Mr. Larry Craig seemed particularly knowledgeable and well-versed in the protocol and rules of this sex hunt in the men's room. That's right, there were quote-unquote wide stances, toe-touching, foot-tapping, bandana-dropping techniques, all referring to a certain sexual proclivity. And Larry Craig was a master of all the rules. Really, when I read about this protocol, it had more intricate choreography than the New York City ballet troupe. But apparently, Mr. Larry Craig was an expert in all of it. I guess it's safe to assume this wasn't his first time at the rodeo. Now, Mr. Craig's actions in the bathroom stall became legendary. Many shows featured it, like Saturday Night Live, the TV series Boston Legal, the Broadway show Spam-A-Lot, and even the movie Deadpool 2. Now, Larry Craig was ultimately charged with disorderly conduct, but he did not resign. But because of this scandal, he did not run again for re-election. Now, it must be noted that not long after this infamous bathroom stall incident, 8 men came forward to the Idaho Statesman newspaper with graphic recorded details of sexual encounters with Mr. Larry Craig. And meanwhile, for 18 years in the Senate, Larry Craig was nothing but a homophobe, voting down every piece of gay rights legislation. Okay, now the next one on the list is probably the most scandalous of them all. This involves Mr. Ralph Shorty, who was an Oklahoma senator from 2010 until he was forced to resign in 2017. I don't know, they have some kind of rule that you can't be a senator when you're in prison. Okay, now Mr. Shorty was a very conservative Republican, always promoting a pro-life, anti-abortion platform, and he was a big promoter of gay conversion therapy. Mr. Shorty did say once that he was family values all the way. I'm not sure what family he was referring to. He was also a major advocate for the Second Amendment and gun rights. He even once tweeted that he knew that he married the right gal because on her birthday, she wanted to celebrate at a shooting range. Now, the Associated Press reported that Shorty routinely voted on bills that targeted transgender and gay people, including one measure in 2017, which severely allowed business owners to discriminate against the LGBT community. Okay, now here's the shocking part. On September 17th, 2018, Shorty was found guilty of sex trafficking and child pornography charges. Ralph Shorty was sentenced to 15 years in prison, followed up by 10 years of supervised release. Okay, now this is what actually happened. Shorty was found in a motel room in October of 2017 having sex with an underage teenage boy. The police were acting on a tip from the underage boy's father. The police found Shorty in a motel having sex surrounded by child pornography and smoking marijuana with this kid. The prosecution also provided evidence that Ralph Shorty had something of a relationship with this kid because they had proof that he had at least 2 sexual encounters with this same kid when he was 16 years old. The trial revealed that Ralph Shorty sent this kid numerous sexually explicit emails where he referred to this kid as baby boy and that he wanted to offer him cash for quote unquote sexual stuff. And the FBI had evidence that Ralph Shorty had used fake names to send and receive child pornography and to go on Craigslist to try to lure underage boys for sexual purposes. Apparently, the phrase, the younger the better, was in most of these emails sent to underage kids. Ex-Senator Ralph Shorty is scheduled to be released from prison in 2033. And I understand that his wife has even more reasons to go to the shooting range now. Well, anyway, that's about it for this episode. If you like what you see, could you please like and subscribe? That would really help our show. This is Thomas Connolly for Famous Gays and Lesbians, Alleged and Otherwise. Until next time, bye-bye.